One thing we were talking about before we even wrote this silly presentation was about how we can apply empathy oftentimes to like a consumer or a person in the world that we're trying to understand and maybe embrace and find a cool thing that they might want to be a part of. But we don't spend very much time doing it with each other or with our clients. And even thinking about like an empathetic approach to a creative department or an agency, what does that mean? That means like being really tuned into what people might need, and that's sort of like a little different than maybe the older model agency where it's like you just do it because you know you're going to be here and you know you're going to work, and instead of like trying to figure out what's motivating them, what's going to make them you know, go beyond what they thought they could do or come up with a solution that they might not have ever been able to get to, because you have to like figure out a way to foster that environment. And I think we've been spending a lot of time thinking about what is that good environment, and how can we help build it, how can we take responsibility for it.
Yeah. The thing I would add,
we haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah,
we'll let you know if we do.
Still working on WIP. I think that one thing to think about it, it's not so much about it being a starting point, but having it be a mindset that you always have, that you're wired to consider what things that people are feeling at any given moment. And I think thinking about, again, observing people and observing people all the time, not just people that you're trying to study, that you're trying to connect with for a brand or for a product, but also always looking about how people connect and engage with a topic, with an issue, or even with their environment. Those are things or cues that you can always pay attention to that give you clues to what problem you're really trying to solve. There's a lesson I learned from playing music that I've carried over till today. And this actually this before I began my career, but the idea of understanding an audience and knowing what the capacity an audience has for attention and attention for you, and knowing the cues that you're connecting and engaging in the way that you should. And you can always tell if people are really paying attention or really feeling it. And a lot of it comes from how you deliver it and how you're feeling it. And I think that's something that is true in every context, whether it's a conference call or whether it's a presentation where you're talking to a CEO. But I think there's things, or even if it's a very impersonal, informal conversation.
That's cool. I guess I would say being willing to step out there with your own personal take on things is something that took me a long time to actually feel okay about, and I still kind of wrestle with it, like, because it's scary to like have your own voice and have your own point of view. And it took me a long time to sort of like realize that things that maybe I thought were funny or interesting, maybe other people might, and to trust that. And it's something I still have to remind myself today, to like listen to that little voice and to follow like that little impish part of you that's like, say it, do it, and to just let that come out.
That's interesting, because I remember you telling me about how when you took that role at Y&R, how you felt like a little boy in a big suit.
I still do.
It was like, and giving yourself room to grow into that suit, is also.
I never did.
Yeah. I think my parents for a long time thought that I was the person behind the camera that directed the commercials, which is furthest from anything that I ever have done. Yeah, I could
picture you in a beret.
Exactly. But
natural.
My parents think that I work in business. They don't really understand the problem solving, the strategy. That's like kind of above their their understanding. They just see it as that I'm employed. It's not that they're not interested in it. I just don't think it's a kind of world beyond them.
It's maybe a good thing that you have your own thing.
What if I was just a cop? You didn't get that.
Well, I have the opposite kind of my dad. He'd be badass. He'd be a great cop. The world would be a safer place. Joe Dale, Peter. My dad was in marketing for a period of time, so I still get a lot of like, oh, I totally know what you're dealing with. Got those account guys beating down your neck. It's like, no, nobody does it anymore. Pirates killed all the Indians. Oh yeah, that actually still happens.
That
yeah.
does happen.
Something I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially is in education and with young people in America. That given the times we're in right now, especially the environment with gun control and the issues that we're having, I feel like creativity is actually being implemented to force the discussion into a new space.
Yeah.
And interestingly, because our talk today was about empathy, I feel like empathy is actually what's going to get us to a solution, because right now it's kind of the creativity of the students and the bravery of people coming out and talking about the issue is really awesome, but it's not until we actually start thinking empathetically about the other sides that we're going to ever get to an answer, because right now everybody's just dug their heels in super hard on either side, and once we start thinking about what it must feel like to be in other people's shoes, maybe we'll get somewhere. Or not. That's also entirely possible.
That's good shit. I was thinking about, I don't know why I came to this, self-publishing. Like, you know, the YouTube thing has been around for a long time, but what's interesting, even seeing it in my children, the comfortable, or the comfort they have talking to someone, even if it's to no one they can actually see physically, they want to mirror what they're seeing in these videos, and I think this they're making their own YouTube videos about whatever it is, and sometimes it's like nonsense about
Makeup tutorials?
Yeah, but the comfort that they have in front of a camera and talking to no one, to a pretend audience, is really interesting, because there's like a level of automatic connection they're making in their own heads. They're going to be really good presenters by the time they get into
That's cool.
Adulthood. But to be able to learn storytelling and learning connection through that kind of that medium and platform at an early age is really fascinating, because it doesn't seem like that they're already sparking ideas and creating ideas and speaking to ideas and presenting ideas at a very early age. That's
cool. Have you noticed that they start every selfie or every video session with the phrase, "Hey guys"?
Yeah.
As if there's just like an assumed big crowd of people out there waiting for them
Click
to say
the
something.
subscribe button.
Hey guys, it's me. Yeah.
Exactly.
Back again. Well, I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I have to say it. Even though I can appreciate a good New York slice. And the process of eating New York, I actually love. Like the whole, like, put it on the plate, fold it in half, slide it. It's like, you gotta get it down just right. Like sliding the edge off that first bite. It's like amazing. Chicago pizza is like a lot of things in Chicago is like work.
Right.
Like, you know, like it's gonna be hard. You're probably gonna like sprain an ankle. Getting in there, it's just not. It's not easy. But you know, the payoff. It's amazing.
I have like lactose issues, so I mean, I think less is more. Is where I go. I run that bad.
I get gas.
I get gassy. Yeah. Less is more.
Sure.